clearly disappointed with the outcome Saturday night. Some of my biggest fears came true on the field. We have struggled in the past against physical teams, big physical teams. We saw it against BYU and Boise. At times we saw it even in some wins against Air Force and UNLV and Colorado State. Was concerned about some of our matchups, and we just didn't handle some of those physical matchups really well. We needed some things to go our way, and they just didn't. They made all the plays. We made mistakes that were at critical times, from the fumble to the kickoff return. The ball was kicked well out of target, and we did not cover it well. Snap over the head of the holder, and then when you get them backed up on the two, to give up an explosive run, and maybe even one of the things kind of subtly because of the rushing yards. I don't know if it looked as obvious, but just we didn't win any 50-50 balls, with the exception of Devin Wright's one DT's catch. We didn't win any other 50-50 balls on offense, and we lost most of those battles on defense as well. So it concerned about it all week. We went into it hoping we could minimize some of those mismatches, and just didn't do a good job of that. I think we would scheme completely differently defensively if we played them again tomorrow. We learned some lessons along the way based off how we're built, and I think we'd probably attack them a little bit differently offensively. So it's just one of those, you don't get back. We got to move forward. We don't got time to dwell on it. We got to take care of our business this week. It's time to go to Albuquerque on Friday on a short week and find a way to get a win, number 9, and hope we get some help out of San Diego State. There's still 5 teams that could potentially play in the championship game. We're all hoping somebody helps us, and we're all hoping we can get our job done. So we'll see how that turns out. I think we're fortunate to be in this situation, this position, considering just kind of what the expectations of the season were for a lot of people. We are definitely not satisfied. Just took one on the chin. We got to get back up and dust off and learn from it and move forward and do it very quickly. What questions do you have?
Okay, I guess I'll start.
All you, man. All you.
All right. Well, New Mexico was coming off a pretty promising end of their last season, beating Wyoming and I want to say Fresno State. They've been kind of hard luck this year with some injuries all over the field, especially offensively, especially the quarterback position. So you've coached long enough. I'm sure you've been in this spot before. How much do you feel for a team that's kind of going through the ringer like that?
Well, Danny Gonzalez, a good close friend of mine, and Rocky Long is like my football dad, if that makes any sense. He gave me my first opportunity in Division I football. So, yeah, I hate what they're going through, but this particular week, I tell them always, I want them to win all of them but one. I mean, this week it's about surviving. I've been through that before. We had a season at Arkansas State where we had 19 guys out for the year, and at the end of the day, you still got to find a way. They've done a really good job. They're still playing great defense, and they figured out a way to manage what they can offensively and stay competitive and stay very frustrating with the changes they've made offensively. I know they haven't, they did. We just got through playing Wyoming 14-3 tells you all you need to know, that they stoned them and that is what they are capable of. So I just have to assume that they're going to play their best game. I think Rocky Long is the best defensive mind in football, in my opinion. That's just me. Maybe I'm biased, but he finds a way to create havoc, and he does it honestly with I think lesser bodies in terms of just depth and maybe size. He just always has. I've seen him do it up close when I worked for him, and I've seen him do it every year since. So I don't care what the record is. They'll play great. They always find a way, and we need to play great as well.
Coach Al here. Can I ask you about how Logan Bonner feels? Obviously, physically, didn't look good at the end of the game. And then the next thing is, if he creates havoc all the time, how are you going to protect the quarterback? Because really, the last 2 weeks, he's been hit a lot. Yeah,
he's been hit way too much. We've had some matchups that didn't play in our favor, and I thought he just keeps getting back up. How he feels terrible. But he's in the building yesterday. Coach, I'm ready to go. By the end of the week, he'll feel better. We're battling with what we have on O-line. They're doing some good job. There's some good things there's some really good defensive fronts in this league. And at times we look really, really good. At times we get exposed in some one-on-ones. I thought Wyoming did a phenomenal job of hitting us, didn't sack us but once, I think, but got to them way too much. And we're growing up, you're really in front of everybody right out there on the field. We're going to have to do a phenomenal job moving the launch point, playing with tempo, max protecting at times, sliding it at times, you name it. There's a, screen up. You got to figure out every way you can to slow Rock down. They're, like I said, one of the best in the country at getting to the quarterback. They've hit everybody they played all year. And we'll have to do a great job of matching up and trying to figure out where things are coming from, buying as much time as we can. Obviously, be smart about the tempo of how we play, the timing of how the ball comes out, the launch point into which we throw it from. You have to take everything into consideration when you're preparing for this front and making sure that you don't let them get a beat on exactly when you're and where you're going to be in the tempo and timing that the thing's going to come out.
Joey Noble for them, defensive end, has 15 and a half tackles for loss. He was honorable mention all Mountain West, so it's not like he's a revelation. He was a good player last year, but is he more of a product of Rocky's scheme, his skill set, a combination of both? Why is he so effective?
Well, his skill set obviously fits what they do. They create a lot of movement. They're all about trying to get one-on-ones and letting those guys really freely run, and he's super quick. So that first step for him, in the inability to ID exactly what's coming, he thrives in that situation. It's going to be, we're going to do a really, really good job of IDing it, getting guys covered up, buying time. You're not going to keep the quarterback from getting hit. The question is, can you get the ball out effectively and reduce the hits and stay away from the big negative play? If you watch, they do a great job of keeping people off schedule. And it's very important that we have productive plays, stay away from the off-schedule down, and hopefully survive the hits that we do take on the quarterback, try to minimize those as best we can.
Coach, did you read your team yesterday when you met with them, or I'm sure maybe on the weekend after the game, that they still, the 5-game winning streak and losing the winning streak didn't bother them or anything like that?
Oh, it bothers them. There's no doubt. It bothers us all. There wasn't anybody in a good mood yesterday, but I told them they got till 5 o'clock this afternoon. At 5:01, when I step in the room for a team meeting, it's time to move forward, and coaches included. We talk about failing forward all the time. We made some mistakes. Wyoming beat us. We didn't play well. We didn't execute well. Learn from it and move forward. We cannot stay stationary. We can't drag this one along. Worst thing we can do is drag this thing with us all week long and go play less than our very best on Friday. And it's a short week on the road against a super difficult defensive scheme to play against. And what they're doing now on offense is just as difficult to match up to. So we have to learn and move forward. They got till 5 o'clock today. That's it. 5:01, it's time to move forward and figure out how to go win number 9. I think the best thing about that whole conversation is we have the chance to win number 9, and we can still be playing for a title a week from now if we take care of business. Everybody needs some help right now. Everybody needs some help. There's just scenarios are all crazy, and somebody's got to beat somebody, and somebody's got to lose. San Diego State may be the only ones that really control their destiny. It's just, it is what it is. So we need to be grateful and excited about the opportunity that's ahead of us, and not deal with the mistake from behind us.
And that was my question about their offense. They didn't have 100 yards or close to it against Boise State. What are they doing, or what do you think they'll do with their offense this week with their quarterback like it's been and everything else? No,
they've gone straight triple option with kind of a pistol eye formation with a receiver in the backfield and a quarterback. The quarterbacks that can deliver the dive and pitch and play action off of it. So I think they realized with injuries and personnel mid-season that they had to make some changes. I remember talking to Danny mid-season, and he kind of indicated, he said, I'm going to have to make some decisions. They changed to it. against Wyoming. They got to win. They've developed and evolved every week, become more and more diverse out of it. Yeah, and it is creating, it's creating those opportunities. And like you said, Fresno had to chase them down. Boise had to chase them down from behind. They popped some big runs, and then they get some guys open in one-on-ones. Now, sustaining it has been a problem for them, but that's come down to defensive fronts creating pressure and getting back in the backfield and making things difficult. And that's going to be our job and our responsibility defensively is to get back there and make it tough for them to create rhythm and get to all their different options off the triple. But I expect to see a heavy dose of dive quarterback pitch and play action off of it and all the bells and whistles that come with it.
Hey, good afternoon, Coach. It's RJ Salveson. I wanted to ask, have you ever had in the last week of your season, have everything kind of come down to the final week in regards of who makes the conference title game and all that, especially with these two games being played about the near same time? You ever had that in your coaching career?
Couple years there at Arkansas State before the championship game was put in play, we had games where we win, we win, we tie, we lose, somebody else gets it. We've had a week where we had to win and needed a loss. So it's not that foreign to what we're dealing with. I'm not sure about this particular group. It's not an environment they've been in recently. So that's really more of the challenge. But yeah, I've been here a handful of times throughout the course of my career. And really all you can control is you. All we can control is us going and playing the best ball we can. We can't worry about who wins or loses outside of that. We just need to control what we do, how we prepare this week and how we play on Friday. And the rest will take care of itself. And either way, if we get help or don't, if we can go win number 9, it'd be a huge accomplishment, have a great bowl game ahead of us and an opportunity to win 10, hope and pray that we get help and that we get the opportunity to play next week. But we can only control us, and that's where all our focus needs to be.
And then, Coach, I ask this respectfully, but with all the job openings that have occurred now in the P5 conferences, I'm sure you're a hot commodity. Have you received calls? Have you taken calls? Do you have any interest at all?
None. Haven't taken any calls. I don't deal with that stuff, to be honest with you. I got a great agent that handles that. Man, we've just been focusing on trying to get to the championship game and win a championship. So it's been really quiet, and all my focus has been on us winning games.
Thanks, Coach.
Sure.
Jason asked about Noble. It looks like to me they've really got about 5 really good playmakers on defense, a couple guys in the secondary, the one linebacker, the 2 defensive linemen. But would you agree that that's where their real talent is in those spots, those guys?
Well, that's where they create the most trouble for you is, dealing with how they attack the line of scrimmage with players from the second and third level. That's Rocky's specialty. You just can't get a beat on it. And, his whole philosophy, and he's done a phenomenal job, maybe better than anybody in this business, at just kind of taking a bunch of bodies, nameless, faceless bodies. Obviously we all knew who Urlacher was, but he haven't had Urlacher in a long, long time. Just putting them in a position, teaching them really, really well how to take advantage of the scheme and be prepared to make plays. And so I think they spread it around where they're expecting a bunch of different guys to get involved, and the stats show that.
Coach Anderson, I have to ask about their freshman running back. He had a really big game against Fresno State a couple of weeks ago. What do you see from him that makes him effective?
Super quick, low center of gravity, powerful. And if you look at the runs that he hit, he stepped through tackles on most of them. And because they've got your eyes in other places, it's no similar, it's no different than playing Air Force when they run, you're chasing quarterback and pitch, and the dive, the trap play goes, with Roberts down the middle. They're doing the same thing. They're doing it a little differently. It's blocked a little differently, but it's the same issue. Eyes chasing quarterback, eyes chasing pitch, the motion back or the speed sweep back, and all of a sudden the tailback is right down, or really kind of gets probably more the fullback in this particular system is right out the gate, out of the A gap, and there's nobody left to get it on the ground. Boise had to chase him down from behind. Fresno had to chase him down from behind. UNLV had to chase him down from behind. I mean, it's been a weekly occurrence, and it's keeping them right in the mix. So you got to have great eye discipline, and everybody's got to do exactly what's asked of them, or somebody, whether it be fullback, quarterback, pitch, whatever it may be, those guys are going to get out the gate on you. That's the difficulty with triple option football. Anybody?